Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. We continue with our focus on waste management and now zoom in on the fashion industry. According to available statistics, the number of garments produced annually has doubled since the year 2000 and exceeded 100 billion for the first time in 2014. So, do you know where your old clothes end up once they've been passed on to multiple times or thrown out? And how does the fashion industry contribute to solid waste, which ends up at dump sites? Well, for more on this, I'm joined by Lucille, Booysen, CEO of SA Fashion Week. A very good afternoon to you, Lucille. Thank you so much for joining us. The impact of fast fashion has proven detrimental. Textile waste is piling up on dump sites. How big is this problem?
I think we need to start with us as a society. So we live in a society of non-needs, which means we don't need anything. We have enough shirts, enough clothes, enough food, and therefore the retailers have got to create dreams for us. Therefore, they have to say, this is what is in the next season, this is what is out. If you look like this, you need to look like this, you need to be thin enough, you need to be fashionable enough. So our dreams are not created by ourselves, especially not our fashion dreams. So what needs to happen is we need to go back to minimalism. And we need to say that we need a capsule wardrobe, things we love, not something that we wear for one night and it never goes back into the system. You know those things that says recycle, reuse, repair and rework. We don't even know those words. Our grandparents knew those words. And until we do that, we will be stuck in this rat race of wanting to be more beautiful, look better just for one night, for one moment. And the retailers fuel that. So although the responsibility is ours, it is the retailers that are chasing the profits that are causing this enormous, incredible overflow of fashion. I mean, if you walk into any of our retailers, you see so much fashion that you don't know who's going to buy it. Yes, and therefore it lands in landfill.
It's an enormous challenge for an industry that thrives and survives on making and selling brand new clothes. I mean, you speak about a capsule wardrobe. That would speak to some quality fabrics like, more 100% cottons and speaking to budget and some of those constraints.
I think the whole world needs to change, Mpho. I don't just think that it can start in one place. I mean, I've just come back from Paris, and what is noticeable, and everybody is talking about it, is that fashion has become more, more temporary, more now, What happens now is important and not what happens to the rest of tomorrow. There's a dress, you can only wear it once. And you can never wear it again. What do you do with that dress? So all of this is fueled by the big brands. And until those big brands that are actually pushing us or pushing the consumers to comply to certain imaginary rules, we will always be the same. I mean, it is more important what you look like now than whether you look beautiful and will be able to wear that garment for the next 10, 20, 30 years and able to pass it on like we used to wear our grandparents' clothes.
Yeah, but as you make mention of this, Lucille, we now live in a space of this fast fashion where designers are creating and making every single day, even as you and I speak. How then do we get to a point where looking internally, looking in South Africa, creating a sustainable local design culture? What will it embody? What will designers need to be thinking? How? And what fabrics will designers need to be looking at?
Well, in my opinion, our country needs to become a designer-led industry to start off with, and not a manufacturing-led industry. And at the moment, we are a manufacturing-led industry, which means it's all about money. If you go back to the designers and you look at the model of the designers are slow fashion. They do slow fashion. They create garments for their clients that really care about their story, that understands that we need to be responsible, we need to look at sustainability. And once that story of the designers and that example of the designers take off, the whole, all the consumers will follow. But for as long as we have millions of shirts made by people that you don't even know where they come from, we're competing with other countries, and we cannot get back to the basics, to taking a beautiful designer garment that portrays or that tells you the story of the designer, and by doing that, the story of the country. That is all gone. You know, we are chasing tonight's function. And we are chasing tomorrow's, we don't even care about workwear anymore. We're just chasing the glamour.
What about the usage of fabrics with the least environmental impact? What sort of fabrics are those? And as you speak about a design-led country, can a country like South Africa, looking at the current economic, standing, can South Africans afford to wear designer-led fashion?
Yes, I'll answer your last question first. Absolutely. The consumers can afford, because the designers in South Africa had to compete with the price points that are in stores. So, and to give you an idea of the annual turnover of the designers in South Africa, and the Department of Trade and Industry did a research document in 2019 where they proved that the South African designers, 345 South African designers come here, well, more or less,
yes.
Has an annual turnover of over 800 million rand. So, that is just a few designers. That is not all the designers. But for as long as the government focus on manufacturing and chasing that, we are not going to create our own identity, and we will always follow the Zaras and the H&Ms and the big brands and the Woolworths and the Edgars and whoever they are of the world. We are never going to be a country where we can, like they've done in Paris, like they've done in Italy, and like they've done in the rest of the world, is actually focusing on developing their designers so that people can buy stories that can last a lifetime, and not just one small garment that is pink that can only last for one night, and the next night you wear it, they say, look, there's a woman with a pink dress.
How is with SA Fashion Week, how are you committing to a sustainable fashion vision?
We turned around in 2019. So if you look at the designers, they are doing slow fashion. And when I say slow fashion, what do I mean? I mean, it's fair wages. They are working with a small studio. They're supplying, the carbon footprint is not huge because they're supplying stores and their own clients. They're building their own followers around them. They don't do fast fashion, so there's a time between when the orders are placed and the deliveries are made. It's circular fashion. A lot of them are working on reworking they're using their fabrics and redesigning and remaking, repurposing their clothing. So all of those things contribute to a better or a more sustainable creative fashion design industry, and that is the industry I stand for.
Very well. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time. Lucille Booysen, CEO of SA Fashion Week, there speaking about sustainable fashion.